Well, hello to my Random Acts of Kindness participants from our PL session. If you are a RAK campus, you are definitely in the right loop for the rollout of the SEL curriculum this school year. So this is really meant for us to just review, refresh our memories as to the PL session that you attended back on July 16th or 17th, and also for us to be able to provide feedback, especially as it pertains to your feedback for us, in which we appreciate sincerely. The rest of this video is really meant to just refresh that brain, get ready for Teacher Prep Week, and to let you know that if you need me, my name again is Jennifer DeGraff. My contact information is on this screen, and if you need anything at all, please let me know. As we refresh your memory of how it went during our PL session, if you remember, you are the trainer of trainers. And so for each slide, you will notice after you have already downloaded, which I'm sure you will have notes here at the bottom of the section to help you remember what it was that we wanted our participants to see. When you look into the slides as we go along, remember that if you have specific norms to your campus, please feel free. You would delete this particular slide and add your own. Beginning with the end in mind, our welcoming ritual, Imagine a World, that was the video that we went through. But if you recall, on our Schoology website, you have a majority of options available to you. If you're looking for a different video, remember that in our Schoology account, you're going to find more videos under discussions. There is the power of advisory as well as kindness starts with one, in addition to the video that you could have used. Of course, you're always welcome to find a different video that would fit the needs of your campus. At that point, if you remember, we did a little activity for our welcoming ritual, which had a lot to do with did you know an act of kindness can. So keep in mind that when you see the various different slides, they are meant specifically to help you deliver the PL. Going into session 5, this was again part of our welcoming ritual. We reviewed our EPISD 2020 strategic plan and specifically bullet number 2, which has to do with the SEL and advisory, and that is, of course, the basis of our random acts of kindness. We then went on to show and talk about what is SEL. We went into the 5 competencies of SEL. We did an engaging activity as basic parts of the brain. And if you remember, we had many of our audience members volunteer to be a particular part of the brain to really just hone in on why it's important for us to keep that in mind. Remember that middle school focus groups was really meant for the particular training group. However, you can use this within your PLC, and you'd be able to take a look at our notes here at the bottom. In addition, we have slide 13, which also, remember, every kid needs a champion, and it is embedded in your PowerPoint, in which you will be able to use that during your rollout session. This is just an overview of what she had to say, talking about the human connection. This again, remember, was a video of the power of advisory. We then went into review community circles, and with our community circles, we provided for you an infographic, which again is all on Schoology, that you would be able to pass out to your teachers during your rollout. We also provided a template to help us really hone in on what we're actually going to be talking about with our students during Random Acts of Kindness. During our advisory periods, I apologize. Then finally, we went into the Random Acts of Kindness resources and the way that it was all set up. And if you recall, there is a particular video that is really made for you and for your teachers to be able to view the way it's put into Schoology. We spoke briefly about CASEL and the connection that it has to being a CASEL Select program in Random Acts of Kindness. We then went into the various steps. There are a total of 5 steps associated with all of the lessons, and we start with the Share, Inspire, Empower, Act, and Reflect. We talked about the kindness concepts. There are 6 units in Random Acts of Kindness. It is a year-long curriculum. And those 6 units: respect, caring, inclusiveness, integrity, responsibility, and courage. We then also went into the various different pieces of every single unit. And as you guys are able to go through that and have a deep dive with your teachers, it gives them the opportunity to take a look at the different components associated with a lesson. Finally, we did go over the rollout of our middle school advisory random acts of kindness. And with that said, if you recall, we went into the annual implementation proposed calendar as well as the pacing guide, which is again all part of Schoology. Finally, our Schoology group access code. If you have not joined Schoology, which at this point I am particularly absolutely certain you have, there is the access code again. Here is, if you are interested in seeing it, it will be the last part of this video, but if you recall, Schoology is the platform where that slide right there is the one you will play to help your teachers get logged into Schoology and to join the group. The next slide, again, is being able to have our teachers transfer the RAK to their own Schoology. This again is a brief video. It is approximately 3 minutes and 6 seconds, and it helps walk teachers through that particular piece. Remember that you can remove this particular slide and add your own team planning schedule. FYI, these are the dates and the session times for all of our campuses. At that time, you had the opportunity to spend time planning your particular rollout, and we ended with an optimistic closure. I want to remind everyone that you do need to make sure that during your rollout that you have your campuses all complete the evaluation. You can have them access it through a tiny URL, or they can do a QR code reader. Either way, please make sure that those get done as we are tracking the implementation of this wonderful program across all of our middle school campuses, in addition to other evidence-based programs that are happening across the district. So please make sure that those evaluations get completed and submitted by your faculty and staff at the conclusion of your particular session. If you have any questions, please do let us know. We are here to support you in your rollout of the RAK presentation. Schoology is the platform where all of our resources for the Random Acts of Kindness are stored. Once you get to your Schoology, I am already logged in, but you will maybe need to log in. You will click on Groups, click on My Groups, and then you're going to select Join a Group. The access code is provided at the bottom of the screen. I am already a member of the group. Once you arrive to the Random Acts of Kindness group, the first thing that you will see are updates. In the Updates section, you will notice any changes that have been made to the Schoology group. Under Discussions, you will find videos in which can be used both in the classroom with students as well as with the training that will occur on campuses. If you just click on one of those links, up will come the actual video associated with it. The next area we're going to talk about is resources. All of the resources for the TOT, Trainer of Trainers, is in the first folder, RAK Training Resources. The video that we showed, Kindness Motivates Kindness, is here for you to use on your campuses. Inside of this particular folder, you will also find the participant agenda. You will find campus agendas based on your campus that you can download and modify. You will also have unit mapping for K through 8. You will also have the participant resources, the workbook, as well as the resource guide. Those also are available for you to download. The next area in the resources page that you will see is going to be the advisory plan, all levels. When you click on that, you will be able to see a resource guide, again, unit overviews and mapping, as well as other resources for teachers, SEL inside the classroom. The first one, of course, is Promote SEL for Students, and you will find infographics, the competencies, as well as our I CAN statements. It will then take us into the different competencies of SEL, and resources will continue to be added throughout the year. The next area is our RAK posters, as well as PBIS expectations and lessons for teachers. The PBIS folder has and will continue to be updated, but it is based on the 3 signature practices. When you go into that particular folder, I wanted to bring it up for those of you that would like to use the ones that have already been created. If you notice, the first thing that you will see is going to be the actual lesson, which is for arrival, transitions, and dismissal. It has a goal, the rationale, the welcoming ritual, engaging activity, as well as optimistic closures that include brain break, student voice, family inclusion, as well as literacy. The second one is the poster that can be printed and used inside classrooms as well as hallways that go over yet again the expectations of the particular unit. The best thing for you to do is to download the resource so that you do not have the problem that we see here with the formatting. At the very end, you also have a blank template that you might be able to use if you would like for your own PBIS resources. Moving back to the area in which we are particularly exploring, there is also the restorative practice for community circles. Inside of that, you will find question banks, circle guides for the first 10 days, and articles that will support restorative practice classroom circles, community circles. Finally, we get into the grade level folders for the curriculum that is associated with the Random Acts of Kindness. When you click on 6th grade, 7th, 8th, or K through 5, the first thing you're going to see is the I CAN statement for the grade level, the RAK lesson structures that have already been reviewed, as well as resources associated with an annual implementation. We then go into a unit, which in this case is Unit 1. You will be able to see what is encompassed in Unit 1, and inside that folder are the resources that include the introduction, the standards, the family letter, the project guidebook, and the poster associated with the unit. The next section is Lesson 1. You would be able to see the overview, as well as the lesson summary and circle questions. Once you click on that folder, inside is the actual lesson plan that is associated with Lesson 1, Unit 1, 6th grade. All of the grade levels are basically set up the same way. Using now for our K5, if you click on one, it also is done by unit along with the lesson structures. You again, within that first resource folder, you will see the unit exploration, followed by the lessons associated with each of the units. The final area that we wanted to share has to do with the albums. In here, you will find albums that might help you come up with welcoming rituals or closing optimistic closures that could help you during your, whether it is a class session for teachers or for a faculty session for our trainers.